Well, a shooting in Lone Pine on Monday has resulted in a Lone Pine man being arrested and charges of attempted murder. According to a press release from the Inyo County Sheriff's Department on Monday, August 13th, just prior to midnight, Inyo County Sheriff's Dispatch received a call of screaming and yelling, crying children near Muir and Lakeview Street in Lone Pine. Now, while Inyo County deputies were responding, they were diverted to Southern Inyo Hospital in Lone Pine for a gunshot victim in the emergency room. When Inyo County deputies arrived, they were advised that a 9-year-old female had been shot one time. The bullet struck the side of the victim's neck near the top of her shoulder. She was later discharged with non-life-threatening injuries, thankfully. Now, investigators from MINT, that's the Major Investigation and Narcotics Task Force, interviewed the shooting victim and her parents, and a positive identification was made of the suspect. That suspect has determined to be 34-year-old Lone Pine resident Jeremiah Joseph. Joseph was arrested without incident Tuesday morning, booked into the Inyo County Jail in Independence Tuesday afternoon. 5 counts of attempted murder, shooting at an occupied vehicle, and battery causing great bodily injury. Well, Deb Murphy filed this report for Sierra Wave Media. Mono County's Board of Supervisors voted unanimously to pursue litigation against the Los Angeles Department of Water and Power to restrain its policy of withdrawing irrigation water from 6,400 acres of grazing leases in Long, Round, and Little Round valleys. Now, last Tuesday, discussion of the issue took 3.5 hours at the Mono County Supervisors meeting. Comments from 27 speakers, Bridgeport and Mammoth Lakes. The chambers were packed with an overflow of supporters of either the environment, the leaseholding ranchers, or both, watching the proceedings on a laptop in the hallway. Comments polite but brutal, Deb Murphy writes. Chair Bob Gardner resurrected his Darth Vader comparison to LADWP from an earlier meeting. Now, a little bit of background. Ranchers in the valleys received up to 5 acre-feet of irrigation water, totaling a maximum of 30,000 acre-feet, until the department presented them with their new leases this spring, with no water provided. Mono County and other stakeholders pushed back. LADWP conceded to providing a total of 5,000 acre-feet for irrigation this year, and to do an initial study this fall under the CEQA, California Environmental Quality Act. Now, the department's intent was to only provide water on 500 acres of sage grouse habitat in subsequent years. Mono County environmental groups, elected officials, and state agencies launched a letter writing campaign. The result, a series of meetings with department management to arrive at a collaborative solution. The end result, nothing, according to Mono County Council Stacy Simon. Now, LADWP initiated, as Deb Murphy writes, a PR campaign referencing the free water it had been providing to commercial ranchers. The cost of the free water is wrapped into the price cost of the leases, said Inyo Mono Cattlemen's Association President Matt Kemp. Now, according to Council Simon, irrigation water was cut off a couple of weeks ago, and the department had to be convinced to keep water on the sage grouse habitat. A brave Clarence Martin, LADWP's aqueduct manager, spoke, reading a statement into the record to correct some of the misinformation. The department is reassessing its water management based on the new reality, Martin said. He noted the department's commitment to the initial study and ended with, "We'll look at this very carefully." Now, Patty Novak from Little Round Valley provided photographic evidence damage that had already been done with mustard and tumbleweed invading pasture lands. Steve Nelson, Bureau of Land Management Bishop Field Office Manager, told the Mono County Board of Supervisors, "We have to figure out what will work for everybody. It's not all about science. Managing those meadows is an art. Nobody has the ability more than the ranchers." Mono County Supervisor Fred Stump opened up board comments, pointing out all of the legal battles LADWP has lost. He said, look at Owens Lake, Mono Lake, litigation and mitigation are expensive. Mono Supervisor Stacy Corliss was told, "Our goal is no water on ranch lands." That was during meetings with LADWP staff. The environmental work and mitigation is in place because of DWP's actions, Corliss said. "It didn't fall out of the sky. It's because of mismanagement. Climate change is real," said Mono Supervisor Jennifer Halferty. "Mitigation is not the answer. Adaptation is." Mono Supervisor John Peters noted LADWP's first step was further degradation of the land. You can't back into a management plan. Chair Bob Gardner listed off the names of LADWP's Board of Commissioners. "They are accountable for these decisions," Gardner said. "They can do the right thing right now." Now, the agenda item included 7 recommended actions, starting with a letter to LADWP Commission Chair Mel Levine, pointing out inaccuracies in communications coming out of the department. Other items included working toward a political collaborative solution, continuing to work with other groups and agencies, pursuit of state and federal legislation, and a long-term water management plan. The final item, file litigation against the LADWP. Mono County Supervisors approved all 7. LADWP, meanwhile, then issued a press release and frequently asked question response saying, we have posted those on our website. Urge you to see sierrawave.net for Deb's full story and LADWP's full response. Deb Murphy also filed this story, noting that with dust storms under control on Owens Lake, Mono Lake has made it to the top spot for PM10 pollution. Now, the solution is simple. Just raise the lake level to 6,392 feet above sea level, and the northeast shore, the source of the fine particulate matter with the potential to cause health issues, will be underwater. Now, operating under a state water resources control board decision for the past 23 years, LADWP has been following all the rules, but is still 10 feet short of goal, and the Lake Basin exceeded federal standards 33 times in 2016. Phil Cadieux, Air Pollution Control Officer for Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control District, encouraging all the stakeholders to update hydrological models to see if that 6,392-foot goal is reachable under the control board's guidelines, and that study needs to be done soon. Like everything involving water and LADWP, it's complicated, Deb Murphy writes. She says, here's the simplified thread. 1940, LADWP was permitted to divert water from 4 creeks that ended in Mono Lake. Now, the lake level dropped like a rock at the lowest level since an epic drought prior to recorded history. This according to Mono Lake Committee Executive Director Jeff McQuilkin. Lawsuits ensued. The result of those suits was the control board's decision requiring 60,000 acre-feet back in diverted creeks and limiting LADWP's diversions. Now, between lake levels of 6,377 and 6,380 feet, the department can take 4,500 acre-feet. Over 6,380, the diversion goes to 16,000 acre-feet. Now, the decision was to remedy a number of environmental issues, including air quality. According to Phil Cadieux's progress report presented at the Great Basin Unified Air Pollution Control District's May board meeting, raising the lake level was determined the only feasible method to sufficiently reduce emissions to comply with the federal PM10 standards. Original predictions indicated it could take from 9 to 38 years for Mono Lake to reach that 6,392-foot level. But LADWP's water license is up for evaluation by the control board if the lake is still short of the target in 2020. According to Great Basin's analysis, it's not going to hit that target. Cadieux said the lake level projections are based on data and a model from over a quarter century ago based on data which appears to be inaccurate for current and future conditions. Now, what about California's epic drought and climate change? That's not really relevant, Cadieux said. The mean flows from the creeks from 1941 and 1990 are just 100 acre-feet more than mean flows from 1995 to 2017. Mono Lake levels have bounced up and down, reflective of runoff, but that 6,392-foot goal is not close to being reached. Methods used on Owens Lake to reduce or eliminate dust storms won't work on Mono Lake. This is a different lake, said McQuilkin. As a National Forest scenic area, Mono Lake also carries additional protections and requirements. LADWP has pointed to concern for ratepayers to justify eliminating irrigation water to Mono Lake grazing leases. But the Mono Lake Committee talked to DWP ratepayers back in the 80s and 90s, and they didn't mind paying a little extra to restore Mono Lake, he said. Thank Deb Murphy for those reports. Well, the entire fiscal year 2018-2019 Inyo County CAO recommended budget document now available online at the county's webpage, inyocounty.us. This is offering the public an opportunity to review the proposed $100,393,501 spending plan coming up for possible adoption in September. Publication of the budget was made possible, a press release from Inyo County notes, by many weeks of analysis, calculation, research, meetings, planning, writing, and review by staff countywide, and in particular, the press release notes, the painstaking efforts of Inyo County budget team consisting of Auditor Controller Amy Shepard, Senior Budget Analyst Danelle Carrington, and County Administrator Kevin Carunchio. Recommended budget is the 10th and last prepared and presented for consideration by Kevin Carunchio, who retired last Friday, August 10th, after 13 years with Inyo County, the last 10 as the county administrative officer. The document Carunchio has prepared details the revenue and expenditures being proposed for each of the county's 19 departments and 130 plus budget units for the 2018-2019 fiscal year, which runs from July 1st, 2018 through June 30th, 2019. Kevin Carunchio noted that by September 4th, acting Inyo County CAO Clint Quilter will have had time to become familiar with the ins and outs of this budget and can and should be expected to recommend any modifications he believes appropriate or desirable. Hard copy of that fiscal year 2018-2019 Inyo County CAO recommended budget available at the board clerk's office, County Administrative Center in Independence, and again online at inyocounty.us. Well, getting information on a search and rescue from earlier this month, Mono County Sheriff's Office notes that on August 2nd at approximately 12:50 p.m., Mono County Sheriff's Office Search and Rescue received a call from a solo climber who stated that his legs were pinched under a rock and he was unable to free himself. He had cell phone and a spot device, which were both used for an accurate location. 9 Mono County Search and Rescue personnel responded and readied at the Duck Lake trailhead, and the search and rescue team then began the hike into the area to assist the injured person. CHP helicopter H-40 once again requested to the area to conduct an aerial search of the area as well. H-40 was able to see the injured party below and able to land safely while search and rescue members made their way to the injured party. Due to the unknown size of the rock and the equipment needed, Naval Air Station Lemoore was requested to insert any additional equipment or personnel needed. H-40 flew 1 search and rescue member and 1 Mammoth Lakes firefighter in with additional equipment, and at approximately 5:25 that evening, search and rescue members made contact with the injured party, who had both legs pinned between 2 large granite slabs. Search and rescue teams continued treating the victim, began the task of rigging and attaching several rope systems to move the estimated 4,000-pound slab rock off the victim's legs. Search and rescue personnel constructed 2 separate mechanical advantage rope systems to manipulate the slab rock. Team was able to successfully remove the slab rock using a 9-to-1 and 5-to-1 mechanical advantage. NAS Lemoore also arrived on scene, able to assist with additional equipment and their flight paramedic. The injured party was flown out of the backcountry to rendezvous with Mono County paramedics at the Mammoth Yosemite Airport. Mono County Search and Rescue would like to extend a thank you to all cooperating agencies, including CH40, Cal OES, NAS Lemoore, and Medic 3. We'll be back with more news.